Hello everybody, my name is Jerry Bryant. This is my brother David Bryant. We are Wrath Upon Eden. Welcome to our brand new mini-series that we like to call Beyond the Tragedy. We're going to be talking about our debut album, The Wake of Tragedy, in its entirety. And today we're actually going to also talk about the meaning behind our name, Wrath Upon Eden, and the first two tracks off The Wake of Tragedy, And All Will Come to Darkness, and Statues. But first, David, let's talk about the name Wrath Upon Eden, where it comes from, how we came up with it. What does it mean to you?
Well, from what I can remember, you and I, Jerry Bryant and myself, were sitting at a Subway, and we were trying to come up with a new name for a band. I can't remember if we had disbanded already, our last band together or not, but so I was really in Carnal Forge at the time, super death metal band from Sweden, I believe, most likely. And they had a song out called "Burning Eden," and that was my jam. So we were trying to tie it all together, and Jerry came up with "Wrath Upon." I think that was probably from "Wrath Upon Ourselves." We're huge As I Lie Dying fans, and always will be.
Yeah.
So,
and that is where it came from. Wrath Upon Ourselves from As I Lie Dying.
Yes. It also, I think, kind of explains our sound really well too. Like the melding of the two bands there, like Carnal Forge, and how extreme they are, and then how like just metal, they're classic kings of metalcore.
Yeah, kings
As
of
Like
metalcore.
Dying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then as far as the meaning, I think Bob probably said it best. Put kind of more of a biblical spin on it, and that was that the wrath that God laid upon Eden was due to Adam and Eve's disobedience through sin, essentially.
Yeah.
So that's kind of our interpretation, I guess, collectively. So it's not intended to be satanic or anything. It's just sometimes it comes off that way if you're not informed. So
it's insanely metal.
We're a metal band, so sometimes that happens.
So for those of you who are wondering, there's the meaning behind the name. So let's get into our debut album, The Wake of Tragedy. We're going to talk about the first track on the album. It's called And All Will Come to Darkness. It's an instrumental song that we wrote together, and that there's a really special meaning behind that name. It was supposed to be the actual title name of our debut album. It's a movie quote that Bobby really loved from Lord of the Rings, one of his favorite movies. And Boromir, when he's getting killed, actually says, "The world of men will fall and all will come to darkness." Obviously, we ended up going with a different name after Bobby passed. I think The Wake of Tragedy, obviously, track 1 through 12 on the album, I mean, it just goes perfectly well with The Wake of Tragedy. But we still wanted to honor Bob right off the bat on the album, so that's why we still went with the title track, And All Will Come to Darkness. And actually, David, you actually wrote that song at a friend's house, right?
Yeah, I wrote that piano bit at my buddy John's house. And I was just, I don't know, I was kind of like overcome with emotion, and I was like, we got to use this.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful way to start off the album. The piano works beautiful in it, and it actually came out even better than I thought it was going to. So, kudos to David and Jeremy from Metasonic Studios had some stuff to do with that as well.
Yeah.
Both of you guys knocked it out of the park with that one. So that's the opening track. We go right into Statues, which is one of our oldest songs. And it's crazy because, I mean, we've been sitting on that song for, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 years. We played it the same way up until we went into pre-production. And, I mean, we ended up rewriting some parts to it, and I know me, for one, was a little apprehensive at first and a little not too sure about it, but hell, I think it's great. I thought it came out way better than I thought. What about you?
Yeah, when you get used to hearing something a certain way for, again, 10, 11 years, something like that. I mean, I started working on that song, I was still in high school. So that and another one of our songs, those are like the two beginnings of this band. So that's why it was important for me to have it first on the album, because it was, not only does it, after the pretty kind of dramatic intro, it just kicks the album off with a foot to the face.
Yeah, it's very heavy, very melodic too. I think David kills it with the vocals in there. It's one of, if not the toughest songs to play live. It is insanely technical, and I still want to punch David in the face because he wrote the whole song in its entirety, and it is a pain in the ass to play live, but it's amazing. I know it's Big Poppy's favorite song, so that's pretty cool.
That's Vinnie's dad.
It's our drummer. So, and I think, going along with some of the lyrics in this, and David will explain, kind of the song in its entirety as far as the lyrics go, but the chorus of the song, I think what's pretty emotional for me anyways, that the chorus can be interpreted in a lot of different ways. And now that our brother Bobby has passed, the lyrics for the chorus are you still with me? Are you still alive? Don't let go, keep breathing. How can I invert the hands of time? And obviously, all of us in the family and all of Bob's friends wish that, we can go back and invert the hands of time and say one last thing to him. So, that's insanely emotional to me. I know that that's not what the song's about, but I love that now that we can interpret it a little bit in a different way. What were your, thoughts and lyrics behind the original meaning of statues for the people out there?
The initial, I don't know, I think back then I was I've always kind of been into studying of like philosophy and religion and stuff. It's a subjective song. It's more of a thought-provoking song. I mean, I like to leave most things open for interpretation, because just like when, like the instance for you, it takes a totally different meaning for you than it did.
Yep. And that's the beauty of it.
10 years ago, I don't know what I was thinking 10 years ago. Another cool fact about Statues is that with it being such an older song, Jerry and I had a band 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Called Archaic Succession, and we had already been playing together for a number of years. But Bob really is the one that kind of introduced us into our favorite bands now, metal bands. And he was in a band at Summer Dying, and he moved out to Arizona in 2003, and I think shortly after that he bought us both a guitar and a bass that were like and we sailed through there, and he started Winterborn, and years went by, and then he got to the point where he was like, he left Winterborn and had no ambitions to do music at all. That was his plan. And then he heard these songs that we recorded, and
Statues in particular,
and he was like, well, those are my brothers. I play bass. This is something we can all do together.
Yeah. It was the first time that Bob could see us not as just beginners anymore, and that we were kind of getting up there to his
Progressing.
level. We were progressing as musicians.
Yeah.
And Statues bringing even that song back to Bob, which is more of this album in its entirety being about Bob. That was the first song where he was like, you know what, I think I want to be in a band with my brothers, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was history after that.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for watching episode 1 of our mini-series Beyond the Tragedy. We got a bunch more coming up in a few days. The second installation of this will be up, and it's for the song Hero. And I'm sure our mother will want to watch that one. So come back. Also, if you want to buy the album, go to wrathupon.eden.com. You can also listen to it on Spotify, iTunes, Apple, all those things. Help us out. Buy the album and all the merch that we have. We actually have some shirts, so yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Jerry. That's David. We're Wrath Upon.
There's no such thing as innocent from being guilty. The children fight inside as we're going to comprehend. Beneath the surface lies a confession, waiting to be told. Awaken your soul from